What's up, everybody? It feels like it's been forever since I've done a live stream. I think it's only been 2 weeks, though. Did you guys like that video at the beginning? I just wanted you guys to make sure that you go over to Christian Hannah Horror's channel and tell him you love him with all your heart, your bloody horror heart. And if you haven't heard of Christian Hannah Horror, then what are you doing with your life? And you need to subscribe to him because he's amazing. And he's got quite the pipes, doesn't he? He's got a great voice. That was really fun, though. How are you guys doing today? Missed you guys. Alex, Roof, Some Neat. What's up, Some Neat? Hey, man. Apocalypse Now. I'm gonna get. I swear to God, I'm gonna get it. Give me a few months, okay? I'm gonna get that review out, though, brother. I appreciate it. DJ Jones, Chris Snyder. What's up, brother? Chris, I'm so sorry, man. Life got in the freaking way, but I swear to you, we're gonna make it up. We're gonna go live together on your channel. It's gonna be fucking awesome. And thank you so much for even inviting me. And it will happen soon, okay? Thank you so much, Chris. Chris, Flamethrower, Salisbury, how you doing, brother? Nice to see you. Maybe I see you at Spooky Empire. We'll see. I haven't decided if I'm going to go yet, but I might go. Brett, Good Real Hunting. Ashley, how are you doing? Dave Vanderhoff. Going to start this off with a little bit of Kiss talk. I think that's what we're going to do from now on. I think we're just going to start off with some Kiss talk. You know, like maybe 5 minutes of Kiss before we jump into the show, you know? Jacques, how are you doing, man? Nice to see you. Paul Stone, Brock Savage, Destiny Faulkner, how are you doing? I said Faulkner, okay? Great to see you guys. My fam. It's my fam. Everybody come here. Let's get a hug. Okay? Love you guys. All right. I finally have a monster today, too. I literally had to go to the grocery store today and buy me a 4-pack of these because I looked in my fridge and I didn't have any monster. And I wanted to have some monster. So, yeah. Dark Harvest, how you doing? Alex, I wanted you to know that I paused The Exorcist just to watch this. Keep rocking. Dude, that's the ultimate compliment. If you paused The Exorcist, one of the greatest, one of the scariest movies of all time, then I am in your debt, good sir. That's very nice. Group hug, for sure, Chris. The Exorcist. We'll be talking about The Exorcist tonight, too. Because let me go over my agenda. I got a packed show for you guys, okay? I spent a good 3 hours today just putting together everything for you guys, putting my slides together, and I want to give you guys a good show, okay? As you can see, Brandon, how you doing, man? Brandon the Beldum. I like that name, but I know his last name, okay? I know his last name. Yeah, we're going to be I was thinking about this because I just recently reviewed The Empty Man. The Empty Man. I saw Chris Duckman's review, and I decided, you know, I'm not going to go into the whole story because if you watch my review, I explain it all at the beginning. But let's just say I watched The Empty Man. I loved the movie. But one thing I do love about it, too, is it's like a polarizing type of film. And I tend to like polarizing films more than I don't like them for some reason. I think there's something weird in my brain that makes me like polarizing films. Like, are you guys like that? Like, if you see that a movie has, like, say, 60%, between 40 and 60%, does that make you kind of even more curious for the movie? Because that's what happens to me. If a movie's between that range, I'm like, okay, so there's something to this then that it's a weird rating, and some people probably love this movie and some people probably hate it. It's polarizing, so I tend to go that way. Cassie Cage, how are you doing? Nice to see you. John Smith, I saw Beth in there earlier too. Low Carb Monster, Troy, how you doing, brother? Hell yeah. Yeah, man, I'm trying to spread the word. Chris Tuckman really spread the word about Empty Man. I think it's starting to catch on now. But going back to what my topic at hand for tonight was, I was thinking, you know, The Empty Man could eventually become something like what happened to The Thing, you know? And that's not me saying that The Empty Man is as good as The Thing, because what horror movie is as good as The Thing, right? But there's some definite potential that, like, it's a really great movie. I found a lot of similarities to The Thing, the pacing, how the movie just gradually gets more and more and more intense, and it never lets up. But the big thing is, The Thing started off as a big box office bomb. Like, critics ripped it apart. Audience didn't go see it whatsoever. You know, it was a strange time, I guess. This is just a case in point of how important timing is. You know, you might release your film at the wrong time, and if you do that, you might not get nothing out of it. You know, and you might release it at the perfect time, and then it freaking make in-game numbers. Who knows? I think, like, here's a case of a movie. Like, you tell me, guys, what movie do you think was released at the perfect time? Like, timing helped that movie, because we're going to talk about timing hurting a movie, but just to kind of bounce off of it. Name a movie that you think was released at the perfect time. I'm going to give you an answer right now, but first let me get a drink. Hold on. Halloween 2018, and I got some Halloween news for you guys too, actually. Because we do news at the front. Okay, the bumper is the news, and then we go into our topics at hand, and then we do our funnies. And grab ass, and then whatever's left is left. But Halloween 2018, I think, was released at the perfect time, because there was just enough time between the last Halloween movie with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. We hadn't really had a slasher resurgence yet. We hadn't really had a big return of the big three. So here comes Halloween 2018. It has Jamie Lee Curtis in it. Firing on all cylinders marketing wise. Okay, and so of course what happened. The movie made freaking $250 million worldwide, which is, much more than the highest grossing next Halloween movie, which I believe was Rob Zombie's Halloween, and it just blew it out of the water. So yeah. Sean Sheridan says, Rocky IV, that film does not work in any other era. Thank you very much. That's a great example, actually. Rocky IV was released at the perfect time. I got to see it in the theater opening weekend, and I remember just the buzz around it. Everybody was freaking out about it. And I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, that's a perfect example of perfect timing right there. Beth says, Scream. Again. Scream came out, perfect time. Everybody was waiting for something, for horror, not just slashers, but just horror in general, to make a comeback. Like, there was like a really serious horror in the 90s, like Silence of the Lambs, like Seven, stuff like that. But we wanted some fun horror to come back, you know? And I think that's what happened with Scream. Scream came along, and it was just a gut punch. And everybody was like, oh, this is fun. We can actually relax now and just sit back, and this is popcorn horror. That's what Scream is. So, great example, Beth. Blair Witch. Man, you guys are just rolling with the great examples. Eclipsed. Yeah, Blair Witch, man, that's another great example with the marketing, making people think that it was real. And I thought it was real. When I went and saw Blair Witch in the theater, I thought I was watching real found footage. Like, found footage, the term found footage did not exist when Blair Witch Project came out. You know, there was one other movie that came out before Blair Witch that is considered found footage, but it didn't really do anything. But Blair Witch kicked the doors wide open. Yeah, yes, Trina, I am a Halloween maniac. You are right about that. Myers, my boy, always keeps bringing me back. Even if I don't want to go back to him, he does something to grab me and just pull me right back in. I love that guy so much, and he's been good to all of us, you know? So, yeah. Kylie says Conjuring. Conjuring horror was pretty dry and predictable at the time it came out, and it shook things up. Very, very good. Man, I might be able to make like a freaking DDLive clip out of this section right here, because you guys are doing my work for me. You're coming up with so many smarty pants in the chat. Yes, very good. Very good. Delmar says Nobody. I'm wondering if you're talking about that new movie that just came out, because that was great. I love Nobody. Paranormal Activity, Destiny, great. Another great example. You know, it's timing. It's just like, just the amount of time had went between Blair Witch to Paranormal Activity. And if you remember, between those two movies, there was a lot, and I mean a lot of shit found footage movies. And then here comes a good one again with Paranormal Activity, a one that was actually scary. Like, answer me this, riddle me this, chat. Which is scarier to you? Do you think Blair Witch or Paranormal Activity is scarier? I think they're both so different, but I think overall, I think I'd say Paranormal Activity. Paranormal Activity is pretty damn freaky. Whereas Blair Witch, it's more like chaotic, and that last scare is what got me. And it didn't hurt that I thought it was real, you know? Yeah, good answer. Original Candyman Sawa. When it first came out, there hadn't been a quality horror movie in a couple of years. Yeah, you know, and thinking back, I think I rented Candyman on VHS when it first came out. I believe it was like early 90s, like 92 or something like that. And it's funny because fast forward to when I reviewed the movie a couple of years ago, I didn't remember any of it. The only thing I remembered about Candyman was how awesome Tony Todd was, and just that weird scene with Virginia Madsen, coming out of the burning rubble and her hair's on fire. And I was like, this is really weird. Really weird. Dave says Blair Witch. A lot of people saying Blair Witch. Brett says Paranormal Activity is scarier. Rick Taylor says Paranormal Activity. On first watch, definitely Paranormal Activity. So it's about split down the middle right now, right? And you can Terrifier that line, or you can Bone Tomahawk that line. Split down the middle. But yeah, whatever. That was a really bad attempt at humor. The Exorcist blew up similar to Blair Witch. Perfect timing. Yes. Man, there's so many great examples of perfectly timed. And I was going to talk about badly timed movies, but I guess we're talking about both tonight. Really cool. What are you guys drinking? Kiss. Dave thought I was gonna skip over the Kiss. He thought I already forgot about it. And he's right. I do have a bad memory, but I don't forget about Kiss. Hell no. I was thinking about Eric Carr today. And if some of you don't know who Eric Carr is the drummer who replaced Peter Criss when Peter Criss left the band. And Eric Carr raised Kiss's sound from a rock and roll band to a heavy metal band. And he did that single-handedly. Like, this is the power that Eric Carr had. His drumming sounded like thunderous, you know? It was massive. If you listen to the song Creatures of the Night, the first thing you're going to hear is Eric Carr's drums, and it literally sounds like you're being assaulted by a thunderstorm, you know? But I was listening to, there's a YouTube channel called Rock Pills, like medication pills. If you check that out, there's a lot of Kiss content on there, and they take a lot of snippets from, it's either Paul Stanley's biography, or it might be just a Kiss biography where Paul Stanley's reading his parts. And man, like, first off, Paul Stanley is just a very well-read, charismatic type of narrator, because you can have some people that read a book to you in like an audio book, and they just, nothing comes, you know, I guess the charisma doesn't come through. They can't paint a picture, I guess, like Paul Stanley does. But Paul Stanley, man, if you listen to him read that autobiography, it just adds much more to the story. You can visualize it much more. And he's brutally honest. And I was listening to that, and he was talking about the whole Eric Carr thing, and how he talked about how he neglected Eric Carr when Eric Carr got cancer. And he thought he was doing the right thing, but I'm not going to make this too long, but like fast forward to Eric Carr's funeral, and he showed up, and him and Gene Simmons showed up to the funeral, and everybody was, there was just like this tension in the air, you know, this negative energy in the air, because Eric Carr's family was pretty pissed off at Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. And I think it really hit him when he was actually at the funeral. And Paul Stanley said he just broke down crying. He just felt horrible about the way he handled the whole situation. And it was really good stuff. It's just sometimes when I'm on my lunch at work, I'll just throw on Rock Pills and I'll just listen to Paul Stanley talk about it. Because he's unfiltered. If he fucked up, he's gonna tell you everything that went down. And if you read those comments, you'll see a lot of people. I think they misinterpret Paul. And they'll say, like, Paul's stuck up and Paul just, he puts down everybody. But he puts down himself as well, But he's just telling the truth like it was. So that's my little Kiss blurb for tonight, okay? Rock Pills. Check out Rock Pills if you want to hear pretty much just like a biography of Kiss, album to album. It's really, really good stuff. So, yeah. Let me take another drink. All right, let's start off with news, okay? I got some Halloween Ends news, all right? Now, what are you drinking tonight? Did you go back to Monster? No, Trina, I got some water, and I got a green Monster. So, very happy for that. And I like to drink the water first, and then I kind of crack open the Monster. But yeah. But Halloween Ends news, and I didn't even plan on giving you guys this news. And this might be stuff that like, this isn't going to be shocking or anything, okay? But it's kind of cool to have not Kills news, but Ends news, all right? So I'm going to play you a cameo video. This cameo video was a birthday present for a friend, Victoria Rasmussen, who is on Killer Flicks. She's been in Killer Flicks for a couple years now. And on her birthday, which is March 22nd, which is the same exact day as my son's birthday, which is cool, she posted this video, and I'm going to show you the video. Let me go to the video right now. Give me just a second.
Happy birthday, Victoria. Happy birthday from Mom. And
let's see, is that? Oh, here we
go. Here. The shape. Birthday, Victoria. Happy birthday from Mom and
here you go.
Dad and the pets, and from my alter ego here, the shape. That's the original mask. I hope you have a beautiful birthday.
He's a beautiful man.
Crazy year and a half. I hope you fared well through it. Halloween Kills is coming out this fall, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be freaking brutal. It's like 2018 on steroids. And we're going to shoot Halloween Ends either at the end of this year or the beginning of next year. We're still trying to figure it all out. Actually doing my first convention in over a year and a half, going to Nashville in April. Love to see you at a con. So please, if you can make it to a convention, remind me that we've shared this birthday moment. And well, I just think, well, we're going to get through all this. We're going to get through it. So I just want to wish you a really, really happy birthday from myself and from my alter ego and Mom and Dad and the pets. And I hope this next year is the best year of your life so far. Happy birthday, sending much love.
That's it. So, first off, again, happy birthday, Victoria. That was a cool present. That was a real, like, I remember my last birthday. Oh, hold on. Why is it playing? It's playing Kill Switch Engage. What is going on? Hold on. Let me turn this off. Hey, I like Kill Switch Engage too, okay? But we got a show to run here. I love Kill Switch Engage, by the way. Maybe we'll talk some Kill Switch next time. But yeah, so the Halloween Ends news that we got out of that was that because there's been a lot of confusion. I've heard people say, is Halloween Ends, like, did they already start shooting it? Or are they waiting to shoot it until the pandemic's over? Well, there's the man himself is stating that either the end of this year or the beginning of next year, they're scheduled to shoot Halloween Ends. So it also kind of makes me think that they're waiting until Kills comes out to even start shooting because a lot of times when they shoot these movies, you'll get set photos that they leak online, or you'll get casting news, that might leak online. And if, say, we find out that one Jamie Lee Curtis isn't in the movie, then a lot of people might start speculating and thinking, oh, but maybe she dies in Kills. Who knows? So that's probably why they're waiting until after Kills comes out to even start thinking about shooting the movie. Nothing leaks out. It makes complete sense to me. So, yeah. But that was really cool. And it's always cool to see James Jude Courtney, right? I have another news story that I want to share, and this involves The Crow. Okay? Now, don't get too excited, because there's been rumors of a reboot for, I want to say, maybe a good decade now. This is a reboot or a remake that just never ever gets off the ground. So, let me pull up some news here. There's a news article on Bloody Disgusting. Let me pull it up here. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. Bloody Disgusting. Let me go find it. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Click on that. Get you guys over there to the news. Okay. So, Crow official concept art from Unmade reboot shows Tom Hiddleston and Luke Evans in Eric Draven's makeup. And I didn't even know that Tom Hiddleston was rumored to have the part. Now I know that, and I'm going to show you a couple other photos because I've been following this story for years now. So we'll read through this first, and then I'm going to show you some other concept arts from other actors that had the role at one time or another, or were rumored to have the role. But we'll get there. So let me start with reading this. Okay. All right. Official Crow concept art from Unmade reboot shows Tom Hiddleston and Luke Evans in Eric Draven's makeup. Okay. Just after running our Phantom Limbs article covering the history of director F. Javier Gutierrez's unproduced remake of The Crow. See, I didn't even know he was attached to it. Bloody Disgusting has scored exclusive looks at the project's leading men in Eric Draven's iconic black and white makeup. Now, here is a photo of Tom Hiddleston that somebody did, some concept art. It's very well done art. It's kind of interesting that he has the short hair. Kind of reminds me of a cross between the Brandon Lee and Eric Mabius, who was in the third Crow Salvation. Because remember, he had short hair, which I will say for Crow Salvation, the idea that they had for the makeup where it was burned onto his face, I thought that was a pretty interesting idea, actually. And there's some cool moments in that movie. I think that's what it is about Salvation. It's a movie made up of cool moments. But overall, it's just not really great. I think there was a lot of promise there, but it does get a little sappy at times too. But I think Eric Mabius really cranked up the theatrics. Maybe a little bit too much, but I'd rather an actor go too far than not go far enough. So, but here's a picture of Tom Hiddleston. And as I'm doing this, you guys let me know who of these actors do you think would have done the best job as the Crow in a remake or a reboot. As noted in the Phantom Limbs article, Mr. Hiddleston eventually left the project and was replaced by Dracula Untold star Luke Evans. Seen here in another bit of concept art created by Mr. Corso for the film. As with the Hiddleston makeup, special care was taken to make the nose scar from the graphic novel more prominent than it was in the original 94 film. I didn't even know there was a nose scar in the graphic novel. Somebody sent me the graphic novel too. I just haven't had the chance to read it. Now, here's Luke Evans. And who does he remind you of there, guys? To me, he looks a lot like Vincent Perez, actually. A lot like Vincent Perez from The Crow City of Angels. Which I think is another movie that's garnered quite the cult following. You know, it's got some weird moments in it, some weird acting in it, and of course there's that director's cut that will never probably see the light of day. You know, a lot of production problems in the background, but I think it's a beautiful movie. It's a beautiful looking movie. You know, it captures what, I guess, you know, the Crow in Los Angeles, what that atmosphere would feel like. You know, I liked it, and I liked that it didn't copy the first movie visually. If you put the first movie and the second movie side by side, they look very different from each other. You know, that's intentional. So, you know, that I think that's my holy grail right now, is to have an actual director's cut of City of Angels. All right, now so let's go down. Mr. Gutier of the work scene here. We tried to make it as faithful to the graphic novel as possible, grounded and with attention to detail. I wanted to show the scar. Bill is brilliant and did an amazing job. So what do you think? Sound off in the comments section below, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So let me go back over here. And let's see, I got a couple more pictures to show you guys. Blood Red Sky says The Crow Part 3 was the only decent sequel. Ashley is leaving. Have a good night, Ashley. Jason, what's up, man? From Sinister Cinema Reviews. Okay. Now here's a picture of Jason Momoa, who was the last guy that was rumored to have the part. They were pretty serious this go round. You know, they were making some headway, and then again it just fell through for whatever reason. I don't know. I think out of all the makeup, that one's a little bit too much for me. Like, I don't know. It just seems, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't know. It just seems like it's too extravagant or something. I don't know. And also I think Jason Momoa, I think he's a good actor, but I think he's just too big for the role. Now, if he was going to lose all that weight, then, you know, I guess that would have been good, and I'd give him more of a chance. But, you know, at that size, him playing the Crow, I just don't think so. You know, you know, he's a good actor, really good looking guy. But again, for me, visually, I think the Crow needs to look very, like, almost skeletal-like. You know, Brandon Lee himself, who's a very thin guy, lost 20 pounds himself to play the role. So, yeah. And now, here's a guy who actually was one of the first that was rumored to be in the reboot. And this was years and years ago, okay? So I'm going to show you a picture of him. And that is Jack Houston. Actually, here's the picture. No, not that one. Hold on. Let me go back. Hold on. Yeah. So Jack Houston, who was in the show Boardwalk Empire, and you probably won't even recognize him from that picture at all, because in Boardwalk Empire, his half of his face was disfigured. And he was probably one of the most interesting characters on that show, actually. Really good. Yeah, Beth, I agree. He does look kind of like, it looks like kiss makeup on Jason Momoa. It's just too much. It's just too much. But I think Jack Houston's a really good actor, and I think he would have been great in the role, actually. And I remember when he was announced to have the role, I was really excited. I was like, this is a really good actor. And James O'Barr was like really behind him and excited about it and everything. He was even coming to like conventions and whatnot. But again, you know, it just never panned out. Like I said, I believe this was the first attempt at getting a remake or reboot off the ground. That just never happened. Now, don't laugh at me, okay? I'm no artist, but I did my own little, you know, real quick rendition today of what he could have looked like in the makeup. And it's that right there. Now, that's horrible, okay? Like I said, I'm not an artist, all right? I threw something together real quick. You know, I took the color out of the picture a good portion, and I did a horrible job, horrible job at the makeup. So go ahead, get it out, laugh your asses off. But you get the idea of how he could have looked as the Crow. Okay? Yeah, Jack. Yeah, Troy's already laughing. Thank you very much. There you go. Yeah, Josh Stewart. Now, was Josh Stewart rumored to have the role? I don't know. Thank you, John Smith. I appreciate it. Josh Stewart. Who is Josh Stewart? Let me look that up. Hold on. I'm gonna look up Josh Stewart. Okay. We'll go together. Hold on. We'll go together. Let me take this off. Okay. Let's go on a field trip, guys. All right. We'll go on a field trip together. Here we go. Okay, Josh Stewart. I don't see anything about Josh Stewart being the Crow. Is Destiny talking about something else? Let me see. Hold on. Images. Oh, yeah, I thought that's who it was. That's Arkin. Arkin could be a good Crow. Josh Stewart. Yeah, I agree. He could definitely be a good Crow. You know, especially when he was a lot younger. But yeah, that's actually a good one, Destiny. Yeah, I like that. What do you guys think? I think I could see it. Let me find out Leah's an artist. Hey, Winter, I'll show you again. Hold on. All right, get ready to salivate. Look at this. Hold on. Yeah, look at that, huh, guys? Right? And they pay me to do YouTube. I should be doing this. This is where I should be making my money. Jesus. It's crazy. The collector. Okay. I was saying he has the look. You're right, Dustin. He does have the look. Okay. I'm just going to leave that up for the rest of the show. So that way you can look at my artwork. Okay. Jared Leto as the Crow is too obvious. You know, Tony? Jared Leto's like getting every role now. Good to see Winnie in here. Okay. Okay, so my question for you guys is, do you want a Crow remake, or do you think we should just leave it alone at this point? I'm curious, okay? Because I'm of the mindset, I don't mind remakes. Most of them are bad. I don't know. Are most of them are bad? Are most of them are bad? Are most of them bad? I mean, they're watchable. I think a lot of remakes are watchable, you know? You guys ready to throw pickles at me? Okay, you get ready, okay? I'm going to, speaking of remakes, and answer that question too, Claire, about the freaking, if you think they should make a Crow reboot, okay? All right, get ready to throw pickles at me, all right? Here we go. I have not watched Martyrs. Let me repeat that. I have not watched Martyrs. That's not why you're going to throw pickles, okay? I have watched the Martyrs remake. I liked it. I liked it. I liked the Martyrs remake. But that's probably because I haven't seen the original. I think if I had seen the original, I would probably throw tomatoes at it and I'd probably hate it, okay? But because it's the only version of Martyrs I've seen, I thought it was decent. I had a decent time with it. I will say the young actresses that were in the movie, I thought they did a good job. Okay? Let me go up here and read your comments. See on this new OBS Live, I can't scroll up on. I have to go to the YouTube and scroll up. Okay. All right. Leave it alone. Leave her alone. Let's see. I was saying he has the okay. Jared Leto is the Crow. I went too far. Still a better fit than the other actors. I'd be down as fuck for Josh Stewart. Horribly underrated, in my opinion. This will soon be a Netflix movie adaptation. Jock is probably right. I think eventually the Crow will be a Netflix movie adaptation. Late Horse Show, what's up, brother? How you doing, Dino? There's no way you can top the original, but I'm not gonna lie. I would go. That's the point I'm trying to make right there. What Trina said. I'd still go see it. Would you? You guys know you're lying to me if you're not. You would go see that movie opening weekend. I guarantee you would. All right. So don't even try. All right. Everybody get in the corner right now. 5 minutes. Throwing pickles. You know what? Remakes are fun to talk about, right? Even if you don't like them. I tell you, the top 3 things that the horror community talks about is, well, I guess top 4 things, okay? Michael, Freddy, Jason, and remakes. That's the 4 things that freaking the horror community talks about. Chris says, don't feel bad. Destiny has only seen 5 or 6 horror movies. Just kidding. Love you, Destiny. She's actually seen 7 or 8. 7 or 8, okay? I counted them. I counted how many she's seen. 7 or 8. That's it. Which is a lot. That's a lot. You know, she's almost at 10. Okay. Do we want to go into the main topic, or do we want to do a trailer reaction? I'm going to do 2 trailer reactions with you guys tonight, okay? We're going to do a new movie by The Boy and The Boy 2 director William Brent Bell called Separation. Caleb Tilbrook sent me a message about this movie. And I thought, you know what? Why not do a nice trailer reaction with my audience? We're going to do that. And then after that, we're going to do the Suicide Squad. Right? I know a lot of you guys have probably already watched that Suicide Squad trailer. What'd you guys think? Did you like it? All right. So let's go look at Separation first. I have not seen this trailer. I have seen the Suicide Squad trailer. So I know nothing about this movie. Okay. I know nothing. Robbie Kozel. Yeah. Dave McRae's Black Christmas does look really good. I cannot freaking wait for sure. All right. Should I leave that picture up? Okay. Jack Houston, makeup effects. Herbert Lee McCoy did the makeup effects for this movie. If I did the makeup effects for that movie, it would go from probably a 4 out of 5 star down to a 1 out of 5, because everybody'd be talking about how stupid the makeup looks. Okay. All right, so we're going to go trailer reaction. So let's take that out. And then let's put that in. There we go. And all right, let me look up this trailer real quick. And let's see, why is that not showing up? Fuck you, OBS. All right, so we'll do it this way then. Okay, yeah, here we go. We'll just do it this way, okay? Yeah, here's the trailer right here.
Thank you all for coming. If Maggie were here, she'd just tell you all to make yourselves at home. The greatest thing about Maggie was this deep love that she had for Jenny. If I'm honest, I could have been a better father. Now I've got to do that. I got to be great for Jenny.
How you holding up, brother?
I can't believe she's gone. Things at home have been strange. What are you doing?
Baby is painting. Daddy, where do you think Mommy is now?
How's she holding up?
Jenny said she saw something in her room.
Where'd you see this?
I'm not supposed to tell. I missed you.
This is an angry soul who's trapped in this world.
I felt something up there.
It's the Cam girl
Bad.
from the movie Cam.
Jenny?
Just come up, Samantha.
She looks like Emma from
This is darkness.
What does it want?
To inflict pain.
She's trying to give us a message.
I'm gonna comment on that just a second. It kind of reminds me of like Insidious mixed with Insidious. Oh, let me pause this. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna pause that, and I'm gonna kick you guys back up here. I'm gonna comment on what Destiny just said. So was that ketchup? And that's literally exactly the same thing I was thinking when that scene popped up. It looked like ketchup. It didn't look like real blood. It was kind of weird. Beth says, I'd be pissed off if my kid was rubbing that shit on my walls. Now we're talking about the real talk, okay? So was it... Because I'm trying to, like, decipher what the plot of this movie was. So was it that the... Was it that the wife died? For some reason I was thinking it was the daughter that died at the beginning. But then I see the daughter in the trailer. So maybe it was the wife that died. I mean, I'll go see it, but I'm still not like sold on it. It does look a little bit cliche. A lot of people were saying that one figure in the trailer looked like Art the Clown. So they might have ripped off Art a little bit too, which that wouldn't be cool. So, but yeah, like Troy said, I'd give it a watch. Why not, right? I'll give it a watch. Yeah. All right, let's go over to. Also William Brett Bell though. Man, I really liked the first boy. You know, I loved that last act. That last act got me. And then he completely just shit all over that last act in The Boy 2. And The Boy 2 might be one of the movies that I hate the most out of life. In general. I've never left a theater so goddamn angry in my whole... I was so pissed off. I'm not saying you got to give me exactly what I want, but you give me 10 other things besides what you gave me, because that was horrible. Horrible. You know, you had a decent chance at a franchise out of The Boy. You know, I wanted to explore more out of what happened in that last act. You know, by the way, guys, if you haven't seen The Boy, okay, talk spoilers for like 30 seconds here, all right? So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. In the end, we find out that it's not the doll that's freaking everybody. It's an actual person that's living in the walls, and he goes around the house and moves the doll and shit, you know, freaks people out. But it turned into kind of a slasher movie at the end of the movie. And I was like, oh my God, yes, that is so freaking cool. You know, I just loved that ending. And then they just completely wiped it away in the second movie. No, that doesn't. Let's make him a supernatural doll. Let's go ahead and do that. You know, let's make him the cliche that everybody was thinking that he was going to be in the first movie, but it turned out everybody was surprised that they actually got creative and made, you know, surprised you. So it's almost even worse, because they surprised you with this great ending in the first movie, and then the second movie, they're like, nope, let's go cliche, you know? So, yeah, Sinister 2 had great moments, but wasn't anywhere near as good as the first movie. Yeah, I completely agree. I think the big problem with Sinister 2 was it was forgettable. And to follow up a movie like the first one that's just so amazing. Like, I love the first Sinister. And to make something just completely forgettable, yeah, that's a crime. I mean, it's hard to make a good sequel these days, though, you know? You know, I think it's easier to make a good sequel to, like, say, just a straight up slasher movie, but you know, like those Insidious movies, you gotta use your brain cells to make good, interesting sequels out of those things, you know? All right, let's check out this Suicide Squad trailer. And you know, let me see if I can move that over, because I don't know why my trailer reaction thing didn't work. Very weird, but that's okay. That's why I have this backup one. All right. Let's try that, and then I can... Yeah, I can move that over a little bit. There we go. That should be good enough. Okay. So now let's check out the Suicide Squad trailer. All right.
You gotta be kidding me. You're gonna risk the entire mission for a mental defective dressed as a court jester.
It's coming from a guy that wears a toilet seat on his head.
We don't leave one of our own behind.
Hopefully Harley's still alive.
No funny business, Colonel. These are dangerous people.
Team 2 is clear to go.
Fire on. 3, 2.
What are you guys doing?
What? We're here to save you.
You were gonna save me?
It was a really good plan, too.
Well, I can go back inside and you can still do it.
That's patronizing.
I'm so sorry. Harley Quinn.
Bloodsport.
Bloodsport?
You know the deal. Successfully
Michael
complete
Rooker.
the mission, you get 10 years off your sentence. You fail to follow my orders in any way, and I detonate the explosive device in the base of your skull.
So this is the famous Suicide Squad.
Mr. Pitt.
Nom nom.
Any questions?
And
Yes, that is your hand. Very good.
we're all gonna die.
I hope so.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Here's the deal. We fail the mission, you die.
If we find out any
Boy,
information you give
Joel
us is
Kinnaman
false,
got swole.
you die.
If we find out you have personalized license plates, you die.
What? No.
If you cough without covering your mouth.
Harley, although that isn't an open invitation for you to cough without covering your mouth.
What's the plan?
How the hell am I supposed to know?
You're the leader. You're supposed to be decisive.
And I've decided that you should eat a big bag of dicks.
If this whole beach was completely covered in dicks, and somebody said I'd eat every dick until the beach was clean for liberty, I would say no problemo.
Why would someone put penises all over the beach?
Who knows why madmen do what they do?
This is suicide.
Well, that's kind of our thing.
Don't you worry, eh? I'm gonna get you out of here alive.
I'm going to get you out of here alive.
Oh my God! We've got a freaking kaiju up in this shit!
I love the rain. It's like angels are splooching all over us.
Did she say spooching? Okay, what did you guys think of that trailer? I'm in because Sylvester Stallone's playing the shark. Stallone, when he does like voice work, it's not his strong suit. Like, you guys remember like Ants? He did the movie Ants, and I don't know. It just didn't work that well for him when he was doing like voice work. So I'll reserve judgment until I see this. But James Gunn, I think he really loves Stallone because Stallone was in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and I loved him in Guardians 2. But even more so is Michael Rooker. Like, Michael Rooker is James Gunn's secret weapon. You know, he's in a lot of his movies. And I'm sure he'll deliver. He'll be great in this. But I'm most excited for Stallone in this. The shark. He's perfect for that character too, for the shark. But I didn't realize that the license plate thing until I saw on Twitter about the Joker's ha 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 on his plate. Oh, nice catch. I'm sure this trailer is just like filled with Easter eggs all over it. And I'll have to go through it. But if you remember, like, the first movie was a mess, just an editing mess. It felt like a music video. I don't know. There just wasn't a great like flow to the movie. It just, like I said, it just felt like a music video. This one actually, we're just looking at a trailer here, but I think this looks pretty good actually. I mean, it's James Gunn, so I'm a big fan. I'm looking forward to it. I'll definitely be there. day one. And this is going to be released on HBO Max and theaters simultaneously, much like Godzilla vs. Kong, this next week. So I contacted WB too to see if they could shoot me a screener for Godzilla vs. Kong. They told me to shut up and leave them alone. So no, they didn't tell me that. They said they'd let me know if they're going to send them out. So we'll see what happens. Hold on. I'd like to get a screener for that though. Okay. All right. We've done the trailer reactions. Now let's go to the topic at hand. All right. Topics. Here we go. So we're going to talk about passed over movies. First off, what is a passed over movie? It's basically like The Thing is a perfect example of that. When it came out, nobody went to see it. Critics ripped it apart. Carpenter went into a deep depression. It's just the timing was horrible for The Thing. And, luckily, it found its audience. And I don't know. I first saw The Thing in the 90s, I think. But I remember when I would go to Blockbuster or the video store, the VHS cover for The Thing always stuck out to me. It's just a unique image. But I never bothered to watch the movie. I didn't really even know what The Thing was about. And so in the 90s, I just burped. Hold on. So in the 90s, I actually finally watched the movie. And I was blown away. And I was just like, wow, how in the hell was this movie not like an Exorcist type hit? Just because of how great it was. And it's just one of those movies that, sometimes they just slip through the cracks, And just this weekend, not this weekend, like last week I saw Empty Man. And immediately I thought of The Thing, and I thought of how, wouldn't it be cool if this movie, like, did nothing, and you could blame it on a couple factors like the pandemic. Just marketing was horrible for the movie. It just got lost in this freaking shuffle, and so nobody went and seen it. And so finally, I think it's gonna get some legs. I do, because I'm seeing a lot of chatter about the movie now since Stuckman put out his review, and yeah, I like, this is a great movie. That's pretty much what it comes down to, okay? And that's the reason why any movie is going to find its audience. If it's great, and eventually it will find. But let me go over here to topics. Yeah, so first movie right out the gate, though, is The Thing. Now, let me ask you guys, would you guys put The Thing, like, say, in your top 10 horror movies? Because it's like in my top, it's easily in my top 5, actually. And I think The Thing is the best case of this topic. Because how does a movie go from hated by critics, hated by the audience, to being in the top 10 greatest horror films of all time? That doesn't happen. That's really strange for something like that to happen. So what is it that caused it? Like, was the cultural landscape when The Thing came out that different than it is now? And a lot of people say it's because it came out around the same time that E.T. came out. And if you remember, everybody was like, I remember, I'm older, when E.T. came out, I remember everybody was talking about it. I was in elementary school at the time, and I remember all the kids saying, you got to go see E.T., greatest thing in the world. Nobody was dare talking about The Thing. And I think that's what it was. It was just, E.T. was like the antithesis, the opposite of The Thing. And it's almost like they couldn't coexist, which is strange. I think if The Thing came out today, I think it would be an instant hit. And I think the internet would gobble The Thing right up. Like, I think, because the internet's like the ultimate form of word of mouth. And I think people would just start talking about this movie like crazy, But back in 1982, word of mouth was a lot harder to get the ball rolling on, word of mouth. And it was pretty much up to the critics. And the critics, I think, had a little bit too much power back in 1982 because we relied on them much more, you know? So it's an interesting case. And Beth says, E.T. has never done it for me, not even as a kid. You know what's funny? I do like E.T. I've seen it all the way through maybe once. Like, I can't remember seeing E.T. that many times. It's just one of those movies. I don't know what it is. But I remember when I saw it, I liked it. I do like the thing. I do like E.T. I think it's got a great score. It's 100% Spielberg. It's like, it's set in the suburbs, you know. This was like in that era where Spielberg was shooting movies in the suburbs all the time. It was shot around the same time as Poltergeist. So, I mean, not to take anything away from E.T., I do like the movie, but it is strange that I've only seen the movie all the way through maybe once. I've caught bits and pieces of it. I remember back in the 80s, it was like a hard movie to even like see because I didn't go to the movies that often in the 80s. And so a lot of times I would catch movies on VHS. And for some reason, they would never release E.T. on VHS. It came out on VHS like way late in the game. And I think that's part of the reason why I just never got a chance to see it. Brett has never seen E.T. Okay. And you know what? There's probably a lot of people that have never seen E.T. It's just not a movie that people talk about that much, you know? And I think here's another reason, too, for E.T. It's not really a horror movie. So the horror community doesn't really talk about it that much. And it doesn't really lend itself to like a straight up drama or a comedy. So those other communities don't talk about it as much. And I think E.T. is kind of just a big hodgepodge of all those different genres kind of thrown together. But just a little bit of each, you know? I think probably more drama than anything in sci-fi. But I think the atmosphere is great for horror. There's a lot of great horror atmosphere in E.T. So it's a conundrum. It really is. It's kind of weird. But back in 1982, everybody was gobbling it up. They loved it. Jesse says Spielberg is God, but yeah, The Thing is better than E.T. I think it's just a completely different movie than E.T., you know? I do, yeah, of course I much prefer The Thing over E.T. That's great. Okay, so let's go to the next movie. All right, next movie. Okay, passed over. Here we go. There you go. How about that, guys? You thought we were going to be just talking horror. But, man, Shawshank Redemption. How in the hell this movie didn't find its audience immediately is beyond me. If you look on IMDb, top 250, it is number 1. It is the highest rated movie on IMDb, top 250, still, I think, still to this day. Somebody fact check that for me. Let me know if I'm still right. But I think it is. And I think the only movie to top it was The Dark Knight for a little bit. And then eventually it jumped back over The Dark Knight. But, man, what a beautiful movie. This is truly it's one of those movies that like I could watch every year. You know, if I got a good 3 hours to set aside of my day, if I want to feel good, you know, it's one of those movies that's just the value of friendship, you know? Because, I mean, here's a guy, Andy Dufresne, played by Tim... God, what the hell? Why can't I remember Tim's last name? Jesus. Somebody help me out. But Morgan Freeman, Tim... Why am I freaking drawing a blank on his name? I've said it a minute. Tim... You guys are going to help me. It's going to come. But... yeah, he plays Andy Dufresne, and he goes to prison for a crime that he did not commit. And he spends 19 years in prison. And, you know, you talk about hardship. That's Tim Robbins, thank you very much, crew member. That's you know, can you imagine going to prison for 19 years? Most people would pretty much give up on life. Okay, I don't even want to live anymore. I'm done with life. But this is about the power of the human spirit and being able to rise above any situation that you're in. Because you know what? Life doesn't always give you fairness. And sometimes it gives you the ultimate kick in the nuts. Tim Robbins, Andy Dufresne, ultimate kick in the nuts right there. Like double punch, kick right in the nuts. That's tough. That's pretty much his youth gone. But he gets out of it because he just kind of focuses on the little things in life that make people happy that we kind of take for granted. Like, there's a scene where he puts on the record with the beautiful music, and everybody for a brief second, they forget that they're in prison. And they just think about this beautiful music that's just playing over the intercom. And Andy Dufresne did that for everybody, and you got Red, played by Morgan Freeman, who was a guy that was kind of going through the motions. He was the guy that could get things. And he was pretty much just living out the rest of his sentence until he died. Didn't really think too much about it. And then here comes this guy, Andy Dufresne, who is the complete opposite of him. And he becomes his best friend. And Andy Dufresne teaches him the value of life and how you can rise above anything. And, it's a beautiful movie. It's just a beautiful, beautiful movie. Stephen King, based on a Stephen King short story, which is funny because it's one of the longest Stephen King adaptations out there. If you're not including like television series or, yeah, but man, Shawshank, what a great movie. But it's shocking to me that this movie wasn't a hit, because it came out around the same time as like Forrest Gump, Pulp Fiction, which are both great movies. It just kind of got swallowed up, it got swallowed up, but eventually it found its audience. And what an amazing movie. Hey, Erica, how are you doing? Sorry I'm so late, but oh my God, you're talking about one of my favorite movies. Yes, thank you very much. Everybody loves Shawshank Redemption. Let me ask you guys in my chat something. Have any of you not seen Shawshank Redemption? Could you stand up and raise your hand if you haven't seen Shawshank Redemption? And I hope somebody in my chat has not seen Shawshank Redemption, so everybody else can beg you to watch Shawshank Redemption. I know Destiny's seen Shawshank Redemption. There's no way in hell she's not seen this movie. But if you haven't seen Shawshank Redemption, it is a gift. It truly is the gift of cinema. It is one of the most beautiful movies ever made, and you can't come out of that movie not feeling amazing. Oh my God, Chris has not seen the whole thing, only clips. Okay, you gotta start it from the beginning. Shut the phone off, shut everything off. Just experience this movie, okay? All the way through, start to finish. I promise you, this is one of the greatest films ever made, okay? Seriously. Wow. You're gonna laugh, you're gonna cry, you're gonna want to hug somebody. It's just a beautiful, beautiful movie. Yeah. David Thorson says he's seen it a few times. Nathan has not seen Shawshank, so Nathan, you're welcome. Okay, trust me. I don't think I've ever met anybody that didn't say Shawshank was a great movie. Everybody I've ever talked to that's seen it said it was amazing. It is. It's amazing. Okay. No pickle throwing. Okay. All right. Next movie. Moving on. Okay. This will be fun for you guys. How about this? Boom. There you go. We need Frank Darabont to come back and make more films. Agreed, Beth. Very much agreed. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. This movie came out of left field, right? We all know the story. This movie comes out, and a lot of you guys did the same thing that I did when you watched this movie. 45 minutes in, you're like, where the fuck is Michael Myers? I guarantee it, probably in unison. Everybody said that at the exact same time 45 minutes into this movie. Where in the hell is Michael Myers? Michael Myers was nowhere to be found. But it threw off the rhythm. You got when you're watching a movie and you have like an emotional rhythm that it's like a wave that you're riding along the movie, and it's hitting all the highs and lows for you, and you're enjoying it. the rhythm was completely off with Halloween 3 the first time anybody watches it because they think Michael Myers is in it. Audiences today, they know the deal, so they go into it. I envy you guys that go into this movie knowing that Myers isn't in it and you're watching it for the first time because you get to see it with fresh eyes. But for a lot of us, we went into this movie thinking, one thing and we got another. So obviously, by the end of the movie, we're discombobulated and we're pissed off. And so this movie was just complete, like, get this fucking thing away from me. Everybody hated it when it came out. Horror fans hated it. Regular people hated it. It was not a good situation whatsoever. And then, let me ask you, what do you think it is, guys? Like, why do you think this movie eventually found its audience? Because I don't quite know the answer to that exactly. I mean, I think the obvious answer is it's a good movie. It is a good movie. It has great Halloween spirit. I think the internet helped quite a bit too, because word of mouth and people were like, no, you got to give this movie a fair shake. It's a movie that it's not a Halloween movie. It should not be called Halloween Season of the Witch. It should just be called Season of the Witch. But there was another movie called Season of the Witch from like the 70s. And so maybe that's why they didn't just call it Season of the Witch. But it's great that it has found its audience. I love stories like this. Movies that nobody liked at first and then all of a sudden they found their audience. And now everybody watches Halloween 3 at least, once a year, every October. It's kind of nice too because some people, when they watch a movie in a franchise, sometimes they just want to watch one movie, like say Halloween. They don't do all the sequels. Most of us do the sequels, but sometimes you just want to watch one movie in the franchise and move on to another. But this, technically, you can watch alongside the first Halloween because they're not in the same universe. They just happen to have the same, title name. Now let me ask you guys this. Are there any of you that still don't like Halloween 3? Because it doesn't have Myers in it, or you just don't like it in general? Because 1972 Season of the Witch, crew member, very, very true. Yeah. Because most people, I think, do like this movie now. Am I wrong? I could be wrong on that. There might be an audience out there that just doesn't like this movie. But, yeah, I love Halloween 3. And I didn't even like it when I first saw it. But I adore Halloween 3 now. I thank God for Halloween 3. It's cool that the first movie was such a big hit that they gave Carpenter carte blanche to actually do away with Myers and actually try an anthology story. At least he got one out, right, guys? Because I'm shocked that figureheads didn't step in and say, no, we got Myers here. He's a cash cow. There's no way we can get rid of this. And I can tell you, I think the reason why we got a Season of the Witch is because, if you remember, Myers was before Jason and Freddy. I think if Myers was the third one out the gate, there's no way in hell they would have let them do a Season of the Witch. Because you got this Friday franchise over here that's riding off of Jason. You got this Nightmare franchise over here that, everybody loves Freddy to death. So they wouldn't risk it. They'd be like, no way in hell. Let's keep making Myers Halloween movies. But because Myers was the first one, I don't know how to, what's the blueprint for this thing, I think that was the mindset at the time with studios. They were experimenting. Okay, we're done with the Myers story. He burned to death in the second movie. Let's go ahead and move on and let's try this anthology idea. And if Halloween 3 would have been a hit, can you imagine where we would be today? There would be more anthology movies, That's not to say that I don't think Myers would have eventually come back because he's just that big of a character. I think eventually after, say, maybe 3 anthology movies and the remake craze, eventually Myers would have come back. I guarantee you Myers would have come back. But, that's just the way everything, was shaken out. Does that make fucking sense? I don't know. All right. So Halloween 3, that was a fun one. Okay. So next one, here we go. Ladies in the house. There you go. Fight Club. This happens to be my daughter's favorite movie. It's definitely one of my favorites. It's probably in my top 20. Like, Fight Club's amazing. But this is one of those movies that I'm not shocked that it wasn't huge at first when it came out. Because I don't think they knew how to market this movie. I don't think they knew what the trailer should be. Because the trailer, if I remember correctly, the trailer feels more like just a straight up like hand-to-hand fighting type of movie. Not really I guess it pretty much is boxing. It makes me think of like the first thing I thought of when I saw the Fight Club trailer was like Every Which Way But Loose. You remember Every Which Way But Loose with Clint Eastwood and Philo Beto. Man, I love Every Which Way But Loose. But he was a bare knuckle fighter. He would make money on the side just bare knuckle fighting, and he would go from town to town, and they would do betting and all this stuff, and he would just they'd schedule a fight with some dude, and there'd be like this crowd of people, and they'd get in the middle and they'd duke it out, bare knuckle fighting. And they made two of those movies, Every Which Way But Loose and Any Which Way You Can, which is weird names, but I love both those movies. So when the Fight Club trailer came out, I thought, oh, this is going to be like maybe like a modern day, edgier Every Which Way But Loose. And by the way, David Fincher wasn't David Fincher at the time. Yeah, he did Alien 3. He did 7. Never mind. Actually, David Fincher was David Fincher at the time. I'm talking my way through this. But yeah, I didn't think of David Fincher like I think of him now. He still was pretty young at the time. But this was not that at all. This had a much bigger message behind it. It was based off of a very interesting novel. And the one line that always gets me about this is, we're a generation of men raised by women. And that's kind of the reason why they're so lost. It's basically about lost males. That's what Fight Club's about. Like trying to find themselves, and we don't have a great war, and everything is just kind of fucked up. That's so the reason they end up fighting with each other is it's just kind of a release. They have all this like pent up aggression and anger, and this is just a way to get it out. I'm shocked that Beth says Brad Pitt was never attractive. Even I think Brad Pitt's attractive. And I'm a straight male, okay? Like there was one actor, I think it was like Jack, one of those older actors, and he said Brad Pitt pretty much makes every other guy look like monkeys. Yeah. But man, this is an amazing movie. Like I love Fight Club. It's a long movie. It's like 2.5 hours long, but you never know which direction it's gonna go. There's always something around the corner, and I think it works so well because by the time you get to that big twist at the end, it kind of just catches you off guard because you're still like your brain's trying to catch up with all the crazy chaos that's going on along the way. Even like thematically, narratively, everything is just off kilter a little bit in Fight Club. And you go into it thinking you're going to want to see like a fight every 30 minutes or something. It's not like that at all. So when you fall into the story, it's like that stuff doesn't even matter. But yeah, what a freaking movie though, man. This is a great freaking movie. I haven't seen Halloween 3 since the 80s. Saw it. Wow, saw it not since the 80s? I watch it every year. Sean Sheridan says, I like the new Wrong Turn. For me, commentary on what a cult would be like has a cult vibe to it. The new Wrong Turn does have kind of a cult vibe to it. It's a nihilistic movie. David Thorson, thank you very much. That's true. Breaking Rules. No Love for Godzilla, longest running film series of all time. I know, I love Godzilla. I'm more of a Kong guy myself. As a matter of fact, I was actually watching this. It's like a panel discussion on King Kong 1976. It was on YouTube, and Rick Baker. I was literally watching it today, and man, Rick Baker had a lot of interesting little tidbits about that movie. Like when he was hired for King Kong 1976, he was 25 years old. They wanted the monkey to look like a Neanderthal, like a light-skinned type Neanderthal man, and he was like, "That's really stupid." You know, he said his pompous 25-year-old self was like, "That's a horrible idea." But they gave him 6 weeks, and they said, "Go make a gorilla suit and come back." And so he comes back, and they tell him, "Make the suit like a Neanderthal." You know, they give him specific instructions. What does he do? He goes and makes an actual gorilla suit that looks nothing like a Neanderthal. And they get pissed at him, and they say, "What the fuck are you doing? We told you to make an actual Neanderthal man. You came back with an ape." He says, "Well, the story, it's King Kong. You're about to freaking kill this movie by making King Kong not an ape." So they had Carlos Ribaldi from Italy make the 40-foot ape, and they wanted him to make a regular-sized ape too, like a human-sized ape, so he could walk in the suit, and he wasn't able to meet the deadline. So they ended up left by default with Rick Baker. So can you imagine? King Kong 76 almost ended up with a monkey that looked like a Neanderthal. That's freaking crazy to me. That's freaking crazy. But yeah, Fight Club's great. Okay. Next one is Empty Man. This is one that I think has potential to be like, I think it'd be really cool if in a couple years this movie does find its audience and becomes sort of a cult hit. I mean, it screams cult movie. If you watch this movie, first off, it's very well made. Like this is I mean, it feels like the budget is massive in this movie. There's a lot of scenes that feel like Fincher. You know, it's got some Fincher vibes to it. The story definitely takes some left turns. Like you think the story is going to be one of those like Bye Bye Man, Slender Man type stories, you know, because it's like this massively well-produced film wrapped around this very simple story that, you know, they could have easily just went that direction, and it would have been one of those movies that came and went, and we'd never talk about it again. But it's not that at all. You know, that little story's still there, but then after like the second half of the movie, then they go down this crazy rabbit hole, and they go into like this, there's like a cult in the movie, and they go down that rabbit hole, and it just gets really, really interesting. But after I saw this movie, I was like, damn, this was a meal. That's what this movie was. It was a freaking heavy meal. And it's one of those movies that like just percolates in your brain. Like you can't get it out of your head. I still can't get it out of my head, you know? And I'm sure there's a lot of you guys that still haven't seen this movie yet. I rented it on Amazon. So you can go rent it on Amazon. I think it's on Vudu too. And I think Redbox has it as well. But man, guys, I'm telling you, I'll give you the freaking stamped seal of approval. This movie, if anything, is so thought-provoking, so well-directed, so ambitious. And I think it's a happy accident that the director got to make his intended vision, 2 hour and 17-minute vision, because the studio didn't really know what to do with the movie. It's like 20th Century Fox is one of their last movies before they went over to Disney. And so they didn't know what to do with the movie, so let's just fucking put it out. Nobody's going to go watch it anyway. But I think this movie's so good that I think eventually it will find its audience. So, guys, homework assignment. Rent this movie next DDLive. Let me know what you think, or message me. Let me know what you think. I'm curious to see what you guys think of this movie. I've had a lot of people message me after watching my review and stating, thank you for recommending this movie. I loved it. You know? There's a few people that don't like it, but for the most part, it's pretty heavily positive. Lee, is it better than The Little Things? I know how much you love that one. It's a little bit, just a little bit better than The Little Things. Just a little bit. No, it's freaking gargantuan landslide above The Little Things. Little Things was... What a missed opportunity. That's all I got to say about The Little Things. Like, wow. You're going to make a serial killer movie and you're going to make the lamest, most boring serial killer ever? Ugh. And the dumbest cops ever? No, thank you. Okay. Empty Man, guys. I'm telling you, trust me. Trust me. You want a nice, very heavy, well-produced film? Oh, by the way, I didn't even tell you the horror aspects. It's got some crazy shit, too. Like, there's some creepy damn scene. Like, it doesn't hold back whatsoever. There's one scene that's like in the shower. It's one of those big, like, standing showers, almost like a sauna. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's like an empty man, because there is an empty man scene in the sauna, and the scene is directed like in a terrifying way. And it's one of those movies that has like that, like, blunt force trauma, you know, just abrupt violence. Let's put it that way, okay? That's all I'm going to say. Like, almost like some Cronenberg elements in this movie, just a little bit, okay? In terms of the violence. It doesn't hold back whatsoever. So, yeah. Night, Chris. Have a good one, brother. Okay. Yeah, and that's another image from The Empty Man, too. I mean, look at the work. That's the kind of work you get in a movie like this, okay? You know? Kind of reminds me of like in Prometheus, stuff like that. But I mean, I like a movie with some great practical designs in there. And yeah, right there, man. That's just, and that's kind of like the cult deity thing that's in the movie. But yeah. And then this might be the last one for this portion. Yeah. How about this movie, guys? Donnie freaking Darko. Man, what a movie this is. Donnie Darko came out right after Columbine, I think, and before 9/11. And it dealt with violence in high school, but that's just a small portion of the movie. It gets a lot more trippy than that. But because of the high school violence themes that it had, the timing was completely wrong for it. You know, coming out right after Columbine, which I was just watching another there's a few documentaries on Columbine. I've always been interested in that case. It's just really strange that those two boys would, you know, that they were just that fucked in the head, that they wanted to just freaking go to school and kill everybody. The documentary that I saw, it was an interview with the mother of Dylan Klebold. I mean, this was a mother that was just, you know, normal, goes to work every day, and I think the message here was that good people can have quote unquote bad kids. You know, because you can't watch what your kid does every second of the day. And, yeah. But, yeah, I don't want to talk about that too much, but definitely check it. I think it's on Amazon Prime is where I saw it, and it was a documentary about Columbine. If you type on Google Columbine documentaries, Mother, Klebold, something like that, you'll find it. Very interesting, though. But anyway, so Donnie Darko, this movie just came right out of left field. And this is truly a word-of-mouth movie, at least for me. Because I heard some people talking about it. I don't know if it was online or... I think it had to be online, because most of the people in my life, like friends, they're not like you guys. Like, I don't have movie conversations, like in-depth movie conversations with friends in my normal life. So... luckily, I get a lot of that stuff online, you know, through a lot of you guys. It's shocking to me that I get to have a YouTube channel talking about movies and get the feedback that I get from an audience that I have. I think that's like the greatest gift ever. Because you find out about movies like Donnie Darko. And I don't know the answer to that. I don't know exactly how I found out about Donnie Darko, but I just... the impact that the movie had, though. I mean, this is another one of those movies that screams cult hit, obsessive fans. Like, there are fans that are completely obsessed with this movie. There's even like a documentary on the Blu-ray about this one kid, and he literally owns, like, let's say 20 copies of the movie, and he listens to the score soundtrack every day. He literally went to a convention and met the director, and he wanted to kiss him. He was just obsessed with the movie, and there's a lot of people like him that are obsessed with this movie. This is a very well done movie, and it's another one of those cases too where the director, this was like the only movie that he did that left a mark, you know, because he did other movies. I think he did like Southland Tales or something like that, but Southland Tales is weird like Donnie Darko, and I think weird movies, it's one of those things where if you're a director who makes weird movies, it's a crapshoot. Like, if you make 5 weird movies, one of them's gonna stick, one of them's gonna make a mark, and I think that's what happened. You know, every movie that he makes, it's like that. Richard, help me out, chat, what's his last name? I can't remember his last name, but this was the one movie that he made that left a huge mark. Patrick Swayze was great in this. Another director that I can think of that had a similar path is David Robert Mitchell, who did It Follows, because he did another movie after It Follows, and that's the one director I was like, God, I cannot wait to see what this guy puts out after It Follows. He's either going to go like skyrocket, or he's going to be like, fucking Alice in Wonderland down a rabbit hole weird. And that's pretty much what he did, because the next movie, I could not really get into it at all. It was just strange. It was weird. But It Follows was amazing. But yeah, same type deal with Donnie Darko. Deals with like time travel. You should never be able to mix like time travel and high school and mix in like all these weird themes. Richard Kelly, thank you very much, Chappie. And it worked, like high school and time travel, Back to the Future. You got to shoot them straight and narrow, throw some nice comedy in there, and you're fine. This goes a completely different direction. There is some dark humor in this movie, but just beautifully directed by Richard Kelly. And he had a clear vision on what he wanted to do with the movie. It's one of those trippy movies that luckily narratively makes sense by the time you get to the end of it. Before you get to the end of it, you are questioning things like what's going on, or like what's with the bunny, all this stuff, but everything makes sense by the time you get to the end of the movie, and I've often said in my reviews, like, I love ambiguity in movies, but sometimes you don't want to go too crazy off the train tracks, because then you can lose your audience. So this is one of those examples where you needed to try to keep everybody on a certain path, and that's what they do by the end of the movie, and it all makes sense, and it's beautifully done. And also, I'm a sucker for a good score in a movie, and this has a beautiful score. Like, great soundtrack, great score. I have the actual vinyl, and it's just a wonderful vinyl. Great score. I love this movie so much, though. Seen it quite a few times, actually. Chase the Rabbit, yes, saw It Follows in theaters, boring film, laugh out loud. I completely disagree, but hey, I respect your opinion. But yeah, I mean, I guarantee you there's like half of you out there that probably agree with Blood Red Skies. It Follows is a extremely polarizing film. I've seen, and it's one of those films, and maybe this is just a polarizing film type deal, but people get angry at polarizing films. And I think It Follows is one of those movies that to come along in the last decade that really upsets people. Like, I see people get into knockdown, drag out fights over It Follows. It's very strange. But it happens, because people, I think it's like, how can I hate this movie and you be on the complete opposite side of and love this movie, And that just like lures me to the movie even more. I find that so alluring. I do. So, It Follows was my favorite movie of 2015. I think the movie's amazing. Have you seen Come and See? No, I have not, Jock. I don't think I've even heard of that movie. Finally watched It Follows a couple weeks ago and really dug it. Nice. It Follows was good. It surprised me. Yeah. It's definitely surprising. Yeah. Dino says It Follows is awesome. Yeah. But yeah, it's just, I find that interesting. Like, I'm not like saying you're wrong if you don't like the movie. I just find it interesting how angry people get at the movie. Like, I think It Follows is one of the most discussed movies in horror groups. And one of the most fought over movies in horror groups. You know, I guarantee there's people that have gotten kicked out of horror groups because of It Follows. Because they just couldn't contain their anger for the movie. So they like crossed the line and called somebody, you know, a name or something like that. You know, it's funny to me. Fandom's funny to me. It's just funny how people act to certain movies. And Donnie Darko might be like that too. You know, I'm sure there's people out there that are like, how in the hell? Because there's people that don't get Donnie Darko. Like they're like, let's put it this way. Like Joe Sixpack, you probably don't want to recommend Donnie Darko to Joe Sixpack because he's going to be like, what the fuck is this? You know, it's you got to be really into like cinema to get into movies like Donnie Darko, like Triangle. You know, Triangle's another example. Like I wouldn't recommend Triangle to like say my coworker at work. He would be like, this movie's way too freaking weird. Yeah. Okay. I think that is it for that. And now, I posed a question on Killer Flicks about pure horror. Okay, pure horror. What's up, Holly? How are you doing? What I mean by pure horror is horror movies that go straight for the jugular. Let me get set up right here. Hold on. Yeah, pure horror. Okay. Yeah. Give you a great example, like this movie right here. Hold on. Let me pull it up. This movie right here, okay? Boom. There you go. If somebody says, what is just a 100% dyed-in-the-wool, no fucking around horror movie, I say that movie right there. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know, if you want shocking, if you want to, you know, really kick somebody in the horror balls, you know, sometimes we're in the mood for that type of movie, right, guys? Like, sometimes we're just like, I want to be fucking shocked tonight. I want to be scared. I don't want any messing around. You know, I want a movie to just go completely off the rails and just try to scare the crap out of me. And, yeah, that's what this movie is. I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre might be the most, like, pure horror movie out there. You know? And I think another great way to sum up pure horror is like it starts off like at the beginning is the normalcy, and then as it builds, as it gradually goes, it just gets even more intense, and it never lets up until the credits roll. You know, there's no like variation, there's no like hills and valleys. Okay, we're gonna laugh here, and now we're gonna cry, and now we're gonna get a little scared. You know, and no, pure horror is just slowly, gradually raising up, and you're just like, God, would they give me a breath? I just need a breath, okay? Because this movie's just not holding back at all. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. When I first saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre, at the end when Sally is screaming at the top of her lungs, that is like the first time in cinema where it felt real. Have you ever had that, guys? Like when you watch a movie and it feels real, like they can't be acting. There's no way that's not acting. That has to be real. Her screaming like that, she seems like she is terrified. You're not going to see that in like, like Steven Spielberg movie, I guess. You know, just... Even though Jaws does have some pretty crazy fucking moments in it, I will say that. But Jaws does have hills and valleys. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre, once it gets going, it never lets up. Never lets up. Okay? Reading some of yours, I see The Ring, The Exorcist. You know, a lot of the classics fall into this category. All right, let me move on. Let me show you some of the... I picked out some for you guys, okay? I picked out some modern ones, and I picked out some classics, all right? All right. Next one. How about this, guys? Now, you tell me if I'm wrong, okay? Would you consider this pure horror? You know, where it just doesn't let up, and by the end, you're just like, oh my God, that was an experience. For me, I think The Witch is pretty damn frightening all the way through, you know? It's just like every corner that you turn in that movie, you're a little scared. You're like, oh my God, if she goes around there, you know, they're in the woods right now. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, there's a baby there. What is she going to do to that baby? Like, there's a lot of moments like that. And I'm not saying it has to be like balls to the wall, racing to the finish line. You know, there's a subtlety to The Witch, but it's still an uncomfortable subtlety, you know, and it just never lets up. Thinking Man's horror. There you go, Third Gunman. Thinking Man's horror can still be like relentless, like brutal, you know. Still need to see The Witch. Brett, you haven't seen The Witch? Jesus. Chris Snyder, dude, I didn't put The Collector on here, but that is a great fucking example. The Collector does, I mean, as soon as he's in that house, oh my God, man, not for the squeamish at all. That's a great example, Chris. Eric says, I love The Witch. I don't love it because it's frightening. It has moments, but I think it's a good film overall. Very good film. Very thought-provoking film that deals with religion and how we can, what's the word I'm looking for? I think religion can be misinterpreted sometimes, and sometimes people take it a bit too seriously, and I don't know. Religion is an interesting topic for me in horror movies. It really is, and I think that's a good reason why a lot of horror movies that deal with religion are often the scariest. It's now 3:40 a.m. in Germany, and I have my day off. But now I absolutely have to see The Empty Man before I go to bed. Dude, check it out, man. Check it out. I'm telling you. Really good. Really good. Is that Basti? Basti L? Yeah. Thank you, Basti. Yeah. Okay, next one. Here we go. Everybody's going to agree with this one, right? Night of the Living Dead. Man. And I saw this movie pretty, like 2 years ago. Andrew Becker, he was passionate. He was like, I cannot believe, and he was right. I cannot believe you have not seen Night of the Living Dead. And I can't even answer why. Like, I don't even understand why I never saw the movie. It's the strangest. Maybe it's because I'm not like a zombie fanatic, or for some reason or another, it always slipped by me, and I just never bothered to watch it. And I think one reason is too is because like I used to watch HBO a lot back in the 80s, 90s. I never saw Night of the Living Dead ever coming on HBO, you know? So it was never like in my path. It was never like just right there in front of me, because I probably would have watched it. But thankfully, Andrew constantly was pushing me, saying, hey, dude, you need to watch this movie. And maybe it's because it was 1968, and I was a little biased, I guess, towards older horror films, and that's my fault, because now I find that I actually love horror movies from the 60s. You know, like Rosemary's Baby. I think those are genuinely frightening. But man, this is a movie that does not hold back. You know, a lot of great themes too, with like civil rights and all kind. Like George Romero, he definitely liked to poke his finger at the government and society and how fucked up we are, and he put that right in his movies, you know. And you know, there was really no subtlety. Like he was very loud and clear with the messages that he liked to put in his films, and his films are, you know, some of the scariest. Night of the Living Dead is chilling. And still to this day, I think one of the most effective horror scores I've ever heard. Like, immediately, that score sets the tone of the movie, and it never lets up. You know, they're at the graveyard, and Barbara's just walking in the graveyard, and as soon as that car drives up, you just hear that music cue that's just so unsettling, just digs under your skin. And I mean, just a perfect horror score. Loved it. Night of the Living Dead and the remake are both great. I cannot believe I haven't seen the remake. I for some reason, I think the original's so damn good, so damn perfect, that I think that's what's holding me back from watching the remake, but I know I need to because a lot of people keep saying it's really good. Argento cut of Dawn of the Dead. I need to check out. I actually own Argento's cut, and I have the original cut on 4K coming. It was shipped the other day, and I was like, finally, I can have the 4K version of Dawn of the Dead in my collection. But I've always been interested in the backstory of Dawn of the Dead too, because didn't like Romero and Argento like live together or something during making that movie or something? Like was it like Argento came over here to the States and hung out with Romero, and they were just like two horror titans just like working together, and Argento was so into what he was doing with Dawn of the Dead that he like wanted to make his own cut of the movie. That's just stuff that usually doesn't happen. It's just really interesting that'd be like John Carpenter wanting to go hang out with Wes Craven and do a movie together with him, you know. Or it's a unique situation. But yeah. But I was planning on reviewing Dawn because I've reviewed Night. I was going to review Dawn, but I'm glad I waited because now I can review it when I get this 4K. I got it for $50. And it's just the single release that has, I think it has like the 2 or 3 versions of the movie. But I didn't get the big box set, and I'm kind of glad I didn't get that because now I got just a standard release that'll look nice on my my movie shelf. Okay, next one. How about this one? I Spit on Your Grave. Talk about one of the most relentless horror movies. Like, this might top the list as far as being relentless. All the way through. Like, it starts off nice and quiet for like maybe 10 minutes. You know, she gets to the small town. She wants to write. But as soon as those guys get there and the atrocities start happening, and she's just like, the rape scene in this movie, I believe it's 25 minutes straight. And then it kicks over into the revenge aspect of the movie, but it never, ever lets up. And it is not a movie that's for the faint of heart, and it's not a movie that you would want to watch, like, you know, a couple times a month. Like, you have to brace yourself for a movie like this, you know? I reviewed it a few months ago, and that was the first time I had watched the movie since it came out. Like, I watched it in the 90s. It was a weekend where I wanted to rent, like, I guess you could call them like the video nasties, the shocking horror movies. I had a weekend like that. I was like, I really want to just watch some really shocking stuff. And so I rented this and a couple other movies. And you feel like something has been taken out of you by the time you get done with this movie. You know, it takes something from you. And I knew it was going to be a while before I watched it again, and I didn't know it was going to be 30 years, almost 30 years, until I watched it again. But I was glad I watched it again so I could, because I like talking about movies like this. I find the behind the scenes on movies like this so interesting. And yeah, it's a tough one though. It's a really tough movie. And I think it's an important movie and very misunderstood. You know, when it first came out, there were people trying to burn the reel. It was banned in a few countries. And, you know, the backstory on this movie is pretty crazy. But, I've talked about this many times on my channel when I've reviewed movies like this, like Last House on the Left, that shocking cinema, it's there for a reason, and I think it's important. And Wes Craven himself said it best, that it's important to cover, you know, the dark side of life and not just, you know, the normal side of life. You have to make movies about taboo subjects that we don't really like talking about, like rape, and you know, to show that there is an ugly side of life, and that's what these movies are there for, you know. But the point of this movie was the revenge portion of the movie. That's the reason it's called Day of the Woman. It's literally a feminist film. The director, who married her, by the way, But the director, he literally saved a woman who had just been raped. He got her to the police department. He took care of her. She was, and it was the way that she was treated by the police officers that made him make this movie, that inspired him to make this movie. He said it was disgusting the way she was treated after suffering such an atrocity. And so he ended up making this movie, not expecting the backlash that he got. You know, like Siskel and Ebert, they ripped this movie apart. Like they went on a smear campaign because they wanted movies to be, you know, sunglasses and sunglasses and swimming pools. And that's just not life. You have to show every aspect of life. You don't just show the good stuff. You got to show everything, you know, the uncomfortable things. No, I have no desire to watch Cannibal Holocaust. It's just one of those movies that I don't know what it is, but I've just heard of how just disgusting the movie is. I don't really want to. And Breaking Bad is fucking amazing. I watch Breaking Bad at least like once a year. I go through the whole thing. Okay, next one. Here we go. How about this? Horror movie hustle. What's up, Drumdums? I'd say that the French film Martyrs is pure horrific, very brutal concept. Yeah, I was actually talking about Martyrs earlier, hoping people wouldn't throw pickles at me. But yeah, I haven't seen the original, but I've heard that it is easily one of the most shocking movies ever created. And I have the I think I got the DVD. Somebody sent me the DVD. I definitely plan on watching it. The Exorcist. How about this movie, guys? The Exorcist. This is an example of like a big budget studio like Warner Brothers. It's shocking that a studio like that would make a movie that pushes the envelope as much as The Exorcist did. I mean, you know, I'm trying to think of the nicest way to put it, but this literally has a 12-year-old girl doing unnatural things with a crucifix. Okay, I mean, it doesn't get much more shocking than that. This is those stories that you hear about, you know, back then, people literally running out of the theater, you know, just not being able to handle it. Relentless. When Father Marin gets in that room with Regan, man, the gloves are off. And you know, if you can make it to the end of that section of the movie, you're probably not the same by the end of it. I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in that room. You know, they pump the AC up to like, I think like 20 degrees in the room or something like that, so it would be freezing in there. The girl, the woman who played Regan's mother, literally like broke her coccyx when she fell back, so the scream is in the movie. William Friedkin would literally shoot off a gun to get a reaction from the actors in the movie. There's a lot of times where you'll see a quick reaction from an actor. A gun just went off, and you know, it just throws them off kilter, and you know, freaks them out. You know, a lot of unorthodox techniques were used in this movie that doesn't really get used these days, you know. Hell, even like in like Halloween 4, when Dwight H. Little was trying to get a good reaction out of Danielle Harris in that closet, and he couldn't get her there. He couldn't get her to cry, and so he walked up. You know, he said, "Everybody stop." And he went to the closet and he grabbed her by the shoulders and he started screaming at her, Danielle Harris. And he said, "You're going to get this fucking shot." And just, you know, just completely unloading on her like crazy, cussing at her and everything. And then so she starts crying profusely. And then he runs out of frame and says, "Go." And so the shot that you see of Danielle Harris crying in the closet, he had just screamed at her, just let her have it. You know, that's stuff that they would do to get a reaction. What was it? There was another story I wanted to share with you guys too about, a similar story about somebody trying to get a reaction. Maybe it'll come to me in a minute. Damn it. I lost it. I lost it. But yeah, The Exorcist was filled with stuff like that, But man, this movie, yeah, it's another one of those movies that I don't watch that often. I've seen The Exorcist probably three or four times, something like that. I watch it like every 5 years. But it's just not a movie I can watch like every year. It's heavy. It's tough, But man, top-notch filmmaking all the way through, though. William Friedkin, he basically said he didn't shoot this like a horror movie. He shot it just like a regular drama. And the horror elements just naturally came out of it because the story itself is so scary. And if you are just completely honest with the material, and you don't really have to think like a horror director. This is a scene where a 12-year-old girl is stating things in a demon voice that are unimaginable. There's your horror right there. Just roll the camera and, as long as you can set up the scene like you would set up the scene, you'll be fine. It's crazy. But yeah, what a movie, though. What a movie. All right. Let's see. What else we got here? Okay, yeah. Evil Dead. I mean, that's an obvious one. I'm going to run through these last because we're like 10 o'clock right now, guys. I knew this would go over. Okay, but yeah, Evil Dead. I mean, wow. This is a great example of low budget filmmaking, thinking outside the box. Sam Raimi's early 20s when he did this movie. The iconic shot of the camera just coming in the woods, going towards the cabin. Shit that we had never seen before, And just completely relentless. Like that picture right there pretty much sums up Evil Dead. It's just a bloodbath. You don't even really have to have a great story. This movie is just pure shock horror all the way through. It's amazing. And it just doesn't hold back, Again, it's another one of those movies that I don't constantly watch it, but man, when I do watch it, it leaves a mark, a big time mark. Like I can watch Evil Dead 2 like over and over. Evil Dead 2 is a lot easier to digest, and there's some shocking stuff in Evil Dead 2. Todd Fair, what's up, man? He says, do you think the Phantasm franchise has passed over by Hollywood? Well, I mean, I think so because the last movie was, and I didn't even see the last movie yet, but the last movie was pretty low budget, I think. And it seemed like 2 is easily the best movie, and 1 is an extremely important horror film. But 3 and 4, man, it takes a nosedive in quality. Now, that doesn't mean they're not going to eventually remake it. Like, I could totally see them remaking Phantasm and coming up with a new Tall Man. I can see that happening. But, yeah, good question, Todd. Good to see you in here, man. Okay, let's go to the next one. Evil Dead. Everybody loves Evil Dead. All right. Here's a more modern one right here, guys. The Descent. Man. This one's relentless in so many different ways, like emotionally, horrifically. It starts off with just a traumatic situation where her husband and her daughter are killed. And then you got this situation where her best friend had an affair with her husband and she has to keep that from her. So there's that tension going all the way through. So the middle of the movie is when they get to the creatures, but it's still very intense before you even get to the creatures. So once they get to the creatures, it goes from like 7 to 9, or just fuck it, 7 to 10 in terms of just like intensity. Like it doesn't hold back. So you got a situation where a character is completely stressed out. Sarah is not very put together emotionally. And it's like in an instant, she has to go from just a waif of a person to a complete badass in just like an instant. And I think Sarah is probably one of the most interesting and important horror characters to come along in a long time. I think Sarah is, she's unique, you know, because you can have that template of the final girl, like say Amy Steele in Friday Part 2. Amy Steele's arguably one of the best final girls out there, but there's something so unique about Sarah that's very different than Amy Steele, and I think she has such, like, one of the best character arcs in a horror movie I've ever seen. You know, like, look at Sarah at the beginning of The Descent and at the end of The Descent. It's a completely different person. And, man, she's so interesting. But this movie never lets up. Never lets up. And it has that emotional undercurrent all the way throughout. The music is beautiful in The Descent, especially at the end when she finally comes out of the cave and the music just kind of like rises above. It's almost like as she's rising up out, you know, from beneath the surface, the music itself is doing the same thing. And it's just like this explosion of emotion at the end of the movie. It's one of the few horror movies that I literally cry when I watch it. Like, I cry almost every time I watch The Descent. It's just beautiful. But it never lets up. It never lets up. It's easily one of my favorite horror films ever. Not just in the last, like, decade, but, like, ever. Actually, I guess this movie's, like, over, what is it, 2007? So, 14 years now? I can't believe The Descent is 14 years old, but, man, this is a beautiful horror movie. But unrelenting. Unrelenting. All right, yeah, we did The Thing. So, yeah, I think The Thing is another example. So, The Thing could, like, do both categories. It could be a pure horror movie, and it could be a passed over horror movie, for obvious reasons. Jason, I cry every time I watch one of your live streams. We should cry together, Jason. Like, you should come on here and we'll cry together. We'll see if we can make ourselves cry together. Okay. Todd says, do you think Jason Takes Manhattan was better than Halloween 2018? No. Not really so much. No. I'm trying to do like a Dr. Evil. Todd hates Halloween. There's a lot of people like Todd that hate Halloween 2018. I don't think it's perfect. I definitely don't think it's perfect. But what it gets right, I think it really nails. But Jason Takes Manhattan, though, it's fun. It's just a completely different type of movie, you know? All right. Damn. You know what? I'm going to go through funnies real quick with you guys, okay? Because I like you guys. Hold on. And I got a new funny intro for you guys. Where's it at? Here we go. Here you go. And so I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and get real high and loud. See to the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I say, hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Let me go over to my funnies now. Okay. There you go. Oh my God, do I try? I try all the time. Okay. All right, we're going to run through these funnies, okay? Who's the right person? I like these text message funnies too sometimes. I got a couple of these in here for you. No, because look at this. So Mike, he sends this picture and he says, sorry, wrong person. Have you guys ever done that? You like send a message to the wrong person and you're like really embarrassed of what you sent. Who the fuck is the right person? I'm sorry you had to see that side of me. Who the fuck is the right person? That's good. I like that. That's Bush League. Okay. All right. Next one. All right. Wildest GTA character ever? Nobody. When you switch to Trevor on GTA 5. I'm not even a gamer, but I thought that was hilarious, okay? I mean, Trevor Any GTA 5 players in here that get this? I don't know, but it's funny as hell. It looks like, doesn't he look like a Sasquatch, like Bigfoot or something like that? I like it. Okay. All right. Be careful what you say online, okay, guys? Okay, so this is from October of 2013. She says, so sick of Walmart employees having the worst attitude towards customers. It's not my fault Walmart is the only place that would hire you. And then what happens? 3 years later, she started working at Walmart. I mean, I'm telling you, that's, you got to be careful. Because you know what? When you're hard up and you need a job and the only place that's going to hire you is the place that you were shit talking 3 years ago. Okay. So Tom's Diner, apparently somebody at Tom's Diner was pissed off. All right. So let's break it down. All right. Let's break down the order. Okay. Well, they got side of mashed potatoes for $2.99, chicken tenders basket for $9, and then a stupid question. They charged him 38 cents for a stupid question. Tom, and I took that personally. So don't ask stupid questions at Tom's Diner. That's the moral of that story. Okay, Russians. I love like anything to do with Russians on like meme sites because they're the wildest, weirdest, craziest people. But this is true. This is what happened. The Russian version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire had to scrap the Ask the Audience lifeline as the audience would intentionally give the wrong answer, which I find that hilarious. And I guarantee you they would do that too. Like, I mean, people are complete dicks in Russia. You know? They don't give a flying fuck. Okay? And I think that's awesome. That's hilarious. Mickey Rooney stars in Silent Night, Deadly Night 5 after bashing part 1. Yep, exactly. Perfect example, Jason. He was bashing the hell out of the first one, and then he's begging for a job in part 5. Which 5 is a good one, too, actually. I like part 5. Now, sometimes I'll just show stuff that I find on Instagram that's really cool that you might not have seen. I might not have seen. This is actually an image from Sylvester Stallone's Instagram of behind the scenes on Rocky 3. I've never seen that picture before. I think it's really cool. And Stallone got down to 2% body fat. If you remember him in Rocky 2, he was a lot heavier. He was like 20 pounds heavier in Rocky 2. So Rocky 3, he wanted to, he didn't want to bring the same thing. So he thought, I got to completely change who Rocky is as a person. I got to make him look a lot tighter. And I got to make him fight an opponent that's like a monster, which is what Clubber Lang was. And he basically stated that when like Mr. T hit him, his punches were like extremely aggressive. So much so that he would like throw his elbows up and make Mr. T punch his forearms so he would like fuck up his hands so he wouldn't punch him as much. And here's another image from Rocky 3. And let me see if I click on this. No, that's not the right one. Hold on. Yeah, this. Here we go. So if I pull that up a little bit, we can read that. Yeah, funny flashback because I have nothing interesting to report today. This is prepping for the Mr. T fight. He was one strong dude, trust me. This is also the lowest weight and body fat I ever was. 166 pounds, 2.8% body fat. That was tough. All right. I was talking about Kiss earlier. I found this picture of Bruce Kulick's Instagram. I find stuff on Instagram all the time to show you guys, but yeah, this was an image from the Revenge tour, and this is after Eric Carr died, and they got Eric Singer, and Revenge is probably one of their best albums in a long time. But Revenge, that's a great freaking album. But that was Kiss in the Revenge era. That's like 92, something like that. And some of you are like, why is Lee showing a picture of Kiss? Because I love Kiss. No one, Horpack actually posted this one. No one, gas station bathrooms. And I guarantee you guys have been to a bathroom like that looks that disgusting. What is it with gas stations? Like, can they not hire somebody to clean their fucking bathrooms? It's really weird. This is kind of cool, actually. So you want to make an earth sandwich? You live in Australia or New Zealand. Australia. Do you have a piece of bread? Yes. Are you willing to go outside and place the bread down and take a selfie with the bread, even though it's late over there? Anything for you. So Australia, was it Australia and Zimbabwe? Is that what it is? But it's opposite ends of the earth. They made an earth sandwich, which I think that's kind of cool. This is are your restaurants reopening, guys? The vibe at all the restaurants reopening, pretty much. And I'm sure you guys have seen this meme, but it's hilarious. That's the vibe at every restaurant now, you know. My question is, when are we going to see xenomorphs like running around? Like, why hasn't that happened yet? Okay, next one. Hi, this is one of those like I think like Facebook Marketplace exchanges. Hi, is the chair still available? Yep, the chair is currently available. Just come pick it up whenever. Cool. Hey, can I get it for free? My son is ill and I need to pay for his medical bills and stuff. So can I have it for free, please? I don't think you can have it for free. I currently need money. If you need to pay for medical bills, I don't recommend buying a $150 chair. I think your son is more important than your chair. And then this is when it went south. Bitch, shut up. You wouldn't know I need to sit. Bitch, give me the chair. I'll fucking kill you. That went from like nice and civil to holy shit in like 2 seconds. It's crazy. Jacob Cinema Junkies, how you doing, brother? Nice to see you. Yeah. All right. This is the one I saw recently. If you didn't know, now you know. Bagels from New Jersey and New York. Bagels from the other 48 states. Now, having said that, having seen the second episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I didn't realize that that's freaking the spawn of Kurt Russell. Because you can't really tell from that picture. You know, the face looks all like, you know, because his head's like covered up. But then in the second episode, I'm like, oh shit, I think it's Kyle Russell, who was also in Overlord, which, man, he's awesome. I mean, if anybody could replace Chris Evans as Captain America, it's got to be the spawn of Kurt Russell, right, guys? That's the only thing that could take the place. And what's cool about this guy, too, is he doesn't really have any superpowers. At least we don't know yet, right? So, and he still kicks ass. So, yeah. All right. Candyman didn't fuck with anybody as long as they kept his name out of their mouth. Let that sink in. You know? Keep your mouth shut. If you keep your mouth shut, Candyman won't come get you. Glenn Harris says, look up Mickey Rourke faces and look at how much plastic surgery he has had over the decades. I remember in 2008 he was making a comeback with The Wrestler, but it wasn't enough. Well, yeah, and the reason he had so much plastic surgery is because he was a boxer. And so he got into like boxing in the like early 2000s, I think, or maybe even the 90s. And he got his face messed up so bad that he had to have plastic surgery. And I guess he got some really bad jobs of, you know, plastic surgery. And it just destroyed his face. Yeah. Okay, and here's... okay, you claim you're big into music. Well, then name this band. I posted this on my Facebook page, and I got a bunch of people like naming different bands. Imagine Baggins. That's kind of funny. But there was a bunch of different options coming out of there too. If you go to my Facebook page, you can see it though. But that's kind of funny. Imagine Baggins. All right. Just shout out to Alex Nash. Yeah, Alec, because I posted on the Killer Flicks about the pure horror, and he mentioned The Exorcist, and I said, there it is. And he said, do I get a shout out? And I said, damn right. And so Alex, there's your shout out, man. You rock. Exorcist rules. And last but not least, just some love for Brendan Fraser. This guy's career was completely sideswiped, and Brendan Fraser was the biggest reason why The Mummy was so good. One of the most charismatic actors, and he just nailed that role, and great in Encino Man. But it's sad what happened to Brendan Fraser's. And you know what? I'm not going to go into it, but just go do some research on Brendan Fraser and find out why his career is completely tanked, And he had some legal troubles in the background. He had a really, really ugly divorce, I think. But, it's sad because he was one of those actors that had that it factor. He was very charismatic. It's not easy to carry a movie on your own and be funny and also, hit your marks on those emotional beats. And Brendan Fraser, and good looking. I mean, he had the whole package, so it's a shame. And, The Mummy's great, man. The Mummy's like one of the best, Indiana Jones type movies out there. Nobody ever thought that they were going to make another movie that was as good as Indiana Jones. That's that type of movie, But The Mummy, I think, is probably as good as Indiana Jones, the first one. The second and third, maybe not so much. But the first one, really great. Kids keep showing up to CCL. Not Jason's fault that CCL, what is CCL? Okay. And I saw a really good one on, now I don't want to get deep on you guys, but suicide awareness. I saw this one, and there was something really cool about this. And, we're all on Facebook, and we do see people vent out their frustrations from time to time. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's great. But, yeah, this really kind of hit home for me. And it said, I just saw a friend post about their struggle with suicide. And a quote in their story was, I came to realize that I didn't want to die. I just wanted my life as I knew it to end. I think that sentence is so important. Your life can always take a different path and direction. I love that, because it just means if you're at the end of your rope, get a new rope and start a new path. You don't have to, you could be at your lowest point, but you could somehow find a way to crawl out of that and, start a different path. It's just the end of that particular era of your life that I'm done with this part. I want it to be over, don't take your life. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. If I can end on a very positive note, you guys matter. Everybody matters. And, take care of yourselves. Okay. Love you guys. And I have a, here you go right here. This is it right here, guys. Okay. If you're having a rough time, rough year, rough life, we've all been there. This line right here. I look at this quote, often. I look at this quote quite often. I'm not going to say every day, but quite often I look at this quote and it's, you, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. The man himself, Rocky Balboa. Okay? Love that. Love you guys. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see you when I see you on the next DDLive.